They will just still have
A
it.
huge thing.
Because otherwise I have to be there. In the car.
Yeah. Are they getting any closer?
Yes. So now it's just going through the final things and then there's not gonna be, from what I can understand, in June. But in July, they're gonna have one and then I'm gonna ask you to go. Oh, because I'll be coming up.
Good travel.
That's
Recycling? But that's the big one where
Look at some land, a friend that's building over there too.
verify that everything is good.
okay.
So what would you normally do with that? Would you, when you get that, would you send it to Reese?
It's a road trip.
Just to make sure.
I know.
Yeah, probably. It'd be the
Yeah.
best thing. Reese already wouldn't be in the loop.
Well, it sounds like we had a meeting, they had that open house.
Dakota State Trooper pulled me over to adjust my speed a little bit.
They really approve it first and then.
Fast where you going?
It was at 79 and a 75. I said, it's after for that.
You want to go.
Well, you said.
Facility committee.
75.
Oh,
9.
here's a plan.
And I go to everything, hey, don't drive the car.
All that kind of fun stuff.
First of all, he trucked.
Oh.
He came back.
Yeah,
I marked it down to,
but the management's work isn't really doing that.
They make you pay.
In fact, yeah, that's.
an envelope.
That's nice.
Yeah, he just said,
Last time we got stuff in Michigan, you ain't leaving till you pay.
oh, I would just do that so I don't forget to send the thing in.
Yeah.
They need that.
Maybe you have touch base with you after the meeting.
Okay.
On a couple
I'll
of.
just, let's pay it here. I'm flying home. I don't want anything hanging over my head. Oh, no. Email this thing.
Yeah, so the guy would we get stuff.
So
Take a credit card.
So then we set it on the GPS, because you can do your speed.
Yeah.
One, that's not that much.
Oh, it's probably not as accurate as it really is.
Morning.
Hey, whatever you guys do. Yeah. Thank you, you know. Okay.
Young guy or?
Hey Reese,
Yeah.
He's probably our age, but. People are talking
glad
about.
to see you filed.
Quality road bumper sticker on it.
Oh, yeah.
They also. Made a little money for its.
Geez, that's cheap.
That is cheap. But
I don't think you can get I don't think there's find a minutes. No, 50 now.
like 1 to 14 over here, it's probably $200 now.
Okay, I have 10 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order and rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. We are live streaming, and so we have a few people that have dialed in. It is public forum time. Does anybody wish to speak at public forum? I don't see anybody or hear anybody. So we'll move on to the agenda. We do have some changes. David?
Mr. Chair, if we could remove the regular agenda item number 6, the household hazardous waste facility bid. They came in a little higher than the budget. We have some ideas that we want to work through and then present that to the June 1st facility committee meeting and then bring it back to a future board meeting. And then if we could add to the agenda, regular agenda item 6.1, comments to the Public Utility Commission. And there should be a handout that goes along with that one. And then a couple of changes on our new hire. We can remove the contingent upon a background check because it was successful. And if just a note that the Snake River Watershed Management Board meeting is canceled.
Okay. Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll look for approval of the agenda.
I make a motion.
Second.
Got a motion by Lovegren, seconded by Waldham. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of the minutes of the May 3rd County Board meeting and summary for publication, and approve the minutes of the May 10th special meeting committee of the whole on the road tour.
Ludwig will move.
I'll second.
Motion by Ludwig, seconded by Moore. Any discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes of, and reports, correspondence, Pine County Zoning Board minutes of March 24th. Pine County Extension Committee, February 17th. Chemical Health Coalition minutes of May 9th. And Initiative Foundation correspondence from May 6th.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Lovegren, seconded by Moore. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to the consent items. Had them in front of you for several days.
I'll move. Ludwig.
A second.
Motion by Ludwig, second by Lovegren to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Move on to the regular agenda. First up is Health and Human Services Advisory Committee report. There's no action to be taken, but Matt, you want to take that?
I'll start it.
Yeah, you go right ahead.
Sure. So we had our meeting and Sam, the director of public health, she updated us on the Blue Zones Initiative, which we did have that kickoff on May 12th down at the casino, which was pretty well attended, 130.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep. And a nice presentation on that. And hopefully that gets going. Now we get to this one that fascinated me was, if you look in the notes there, she updated us on the wellness program that they started in the summer of 2021 in their in-house with, on voluntary. People could do that. And the program like focuses on purpose-driven work, and they did a survey at the beginning or before they started it. Then I think they ran it 3 months or something like that, 6 months or something. It did the survey and it was just a random questions and about depression that can happen in work and this and that and stress and all that. And the change from the first month was like just dramatic to the positive because they could work really at their, and all the work was getting done. So it was that was really interesting to me. And I don't know if I missed anything there, but it's an ongoing thing and they're going to offer to other employees in different departments. They're going to work on that and do the same thing.
That's something that can be offered to all county employees.
I don't know how it would work because I probably could be, but it'll be different for each department, I think.
I think it's going to have a presentation to the personnel committee
Yeah.
to follow up on your question, Terry, because I think it's some really positive things that they've been doing that I think would transpose to some other departments, not all, but some. And so I think it's
Yeah, it'll be so different because the work is so different,
Right. Right.
Mr. Chair, if I could just add a comment on the question, I think the answer is yes, it could be rolled out to any department. It would look different in each department because of the business needs of the department, but the concept is there's a focus on purpose-driven work, connectedness, a supportive work environment, and well-being. And so how that would manifest itself in different departments would have to be worked through by that department.
Sounds like a good program.
I think it is, and it actually, in my mind, kind of tied into the presentation we heard from Danny Butner at the Blue Zone thing, that there's a lot more to life than just getting up in the morning and trying to get a paycheck on Friday. And so I found that presentation really interesting. I've been interested in that blue zone stuff for years, but I thought the presentation was well done. I thought the people that, I was really pleasantly surprised at the turnout. I didn't know what I expected, but I did not expect. How many people were there? 100,
It's like 130, somewhere.
130 some people, which I thought was amazing. So it was a well put together program. Obviously, they just didn't think of it the day before and say, let's do this. It was a well thought out, well planned, and the presenter was spot on. He's done that before. It's not his first rodeo, so.
Yeah, there really was zero negative to that
No,
program. The employees worked harder in the end, you know, and get or more work to make them. Anyway, there'll be more to come on that, I'm sure. And I'm probably not the best spokesman because that's the first time I heard it. I was there, and Sam has a great PowerPoint. So if you ever wanted to see it, she could probably put it up. And then Becky spoke to the general piece on HHS ended 2021 with a $500,000 surplus. May is childcare month. May 16th is something scheduled. There's some kind of session scheduled at Pine Tech. I don't remember what that is, but anyway, we get these Moose Lake allocation dollars. You've heard me talk about it for the mental health, and we've always received it a lump sum for the we have to do with them because the facilities are closed. Well, this is our last year. We got 110 for 2022, I believe, and in 2023 and 2024, those are the dollars that we were getting, or the catchment area that Moose Lake served is going to Department of Health and Human Services in Minnesota, and they're going to allocate it how they see fit. So who knows what that's going to be. So that could have an impact on us in the future, which we've said before. And the Mille Lacs Tribal Initiative is moving forward on Health and Human Services, and it's really unclear how that's going to. Oh, and then Pine County is going to be participating in Project Lifesaver, which is bracelets, location bracelets that can be given to Alzheimer's people and that thing. So if they wander off, they can be found with GPS. So that's a great thing. Now, another negative, UCare, which gets operated through Health and Human Services, they've been pushing for our, on the adult side, I think, to take 300 more clients because we handle that. And now we don't handle this group now. And who knows why the state's trying to push them, or that the insurance company that handles the stuff for the state's trying to push them out the county. They're all here, I think, in our county, but they're dealing with them now. But if we add that many clients to our staff, we would have to add employees to handle it all, which it's gonna cost us a lot of money. So we feel, as at least at the committee right now, that we don't want to take them. So we'll see what happens there. If we can push back. And then the other change is adult protection services on call. It used to, when there was an emergency, that would go into the law enforcement. We would deal with it initially and then kick it back to the social services. Well, now that system's going to go directly to the on-call with social services. So they have to create an on-call, and it's not going to go to law enforcement. So that's pretty much it. Kind of hit the high points.
Commissioner Ludwig, you had added 2 items. Do you want to touch on those?
What's that?
The seatbelt fines. You want to talk about those?
Which one?
The
The seatbelt money,
You had talked. The EMS funding.
I can't hear what you're saying.
that
8.2.
8.2?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I already talked about it a lot. That's why I've mentioned it in all my committee reports, but that's the EMS is pushing to, our EMS board, which you heard me talk about, the funding has been tough. So they said, well, let's see if the counties can tap some of the opiate settlement dollars, and we'll, commit a percentage to support the EMS training. And the board over there said, yeah, let's go for it. You know, that I didn't really agree with that program. But anyway, we don't get enough, and I think we have enough spoken for it. I told them, I think our dollars are already spoken for in Pine County. But anyway, they're still pushing that. The state is responsible for that, I think, because they're the one that they put a mandate on your first responders to be up to, they keep raising these mandates for they're volunteers. But those guys can only have so many hot dog sales on a Saturday to raise a few bucks to run, keep their departments open. So I don't know what's going to happen, and the other thing I don't remember is when I came here, I know it was when I was in law enforcement, it was different. Before the EMS region was formed, the locals all handled, and the county had some contributions to that. I have not researched to see what it was, but let's say it all fell apart and each county was responsible for its own, that would be different to us too, with their first responders. And so anyway, who knows? And I the way it's funded now, and I think you've heard me say before, is the seatbelt violations. They always got a percentage, which is because most of them are traffic crashes and stuff. It made sense that some of the dollars would go to fund the training the first responder. Well, the seatbelt compliance is doing so well, there's just no dollars coming in. So we initially said, well, let's just go to a different statute, like driver inattention or something like that, and just attach the same thing. That didn't happen. Oh, I have Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You did an awesome job. Personnel Committee report.
All right,
Josh.
should we do these like,
Um,
what do you think the best way? There's a lot here, so maybe I'll just start with A
yep,
and then we'll do A1 and 2 and then go. So Health and Human Services, acknowledge resignation of eligibility worker Danielle Snedker, effective April 19, 2022. Approve the backfill of the position, any subsequent vacancies that may occur due to internal promotion or lateral transfer. Acknowledge the resignation of social worker Brenda Danielson, effective May 2nd, 2022, and approve backfill of the position, any subsequent vacancies that may occur due to internal promotion or lateral transfer. I will move both of them.
Second that.
got a motion by Moore, seconded by Lovegren to move the Health and Human Services resignations and subsequent backfills. Any discussion?
One quick thing, I believe this was the one, I think both of these took a pretty good promotion that we had talked about, that it's nice to see Pine County people make a pretty good jump. So it's not like we're losing them they're getting a pretty decent promotion.
Yeah, we did a great job getting them ready for a better position in life, which isn't all bad sometimes.
Yeah.
We get some of those people back. We treat them right. They remember where they grew up. So no discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
All right.
Thanks for covering that, Steve.
Yep.
Auditor treasurer approve updating of the temporary election judge job description to meet Minnesota statute 203B.121 requirements with a change of lifting requirement from 50 to 25 pounds. Approve the updating of the temporary election assistant job description position, assisting with updates to remove 2020 election language, assisting with the absentee mail ballots, including answering questions and assisting in voter resignation registration in person and over the telephone. Approve updating of the zoning and solid waste support specialist job description position with additional GIS projects and reclassifying the position from grade 4 to 5 based on the SAFE system classification method. The increase in wage from 19.02 an hour to 20.17 an hour is contained in the unbudgeted revenues from the One Waters to One Plant Fund. And 4, approve the updated zoning and solid waste technical job description to include more environmental tasks and reclassifying the position from 7 to 9 on the safe system classification method. The increase of wage from $22.65 an hour to $24.01 an hour is contained in the unbudgeted revenues from one watershed, one plan fund. I will move the auditor treasurer.
Can I ask a question? How much are the new machines? With lowering the lifting, the weight limits?
We had discussions about that. So the new machines are not nearly as heavy, but they are probably over 25 pounds, but we had decided that those election judges, like, they're not gonna be moving those machines, it's gonna be staff members. But I do want to clarify though, the technician is actually a grade 8, not a grade 9.
Okay,
I'll second, Mr. Chair.
Matt, you seconded. Any more questions? Any discussion? Otherwise, we got a motion by Ludwig or by Moore, seconded by Ludwig. No more discussion. All in favor, say aye.
aye.
Opposed? And then on to the sheriff's dispatch.
All right, Sheriff's Office dispatch, ratify the termination of part-time probationary dispatcher Kevin Strebe, effective April 26, 2022, and approve the backfill of the position and any subsequent vacancies that may occur due to internal promotion and lateral transfer. I will move that.
I'll second it.
Motion by Moore, seconded by Lovegren. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Public Works.
Approve the backfill of open highway engineer technician 2 position and promote sign maintenance worker Greg Rubenek to the highway engineer technician 2 position, effective June 6, 2022, grade 9, step 4, 27.54 an hour. Approve the backfill of the position and any subsequent vacancies that may occur to internal promotion or lateral transfer. I will move that.
I'll second it.
A motion by Moore, seconded by Lovegren. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
That is it.
about it. New hire, authorize the hiring of Amber Dents, eligibility worker,
So
and she passed the background check, so
moved.
I'll second that.
Lovegren, you make the motion?
Yep.
Okay. Motion by Lovegren, seconded by Moore. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, this was a position we had left vacant for a while, right?
No,
No,
Mr.
That's the new one?
This, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Ludwig. So this is just showing up on the regular agenda versus the consent agenda because it was on the Personnel Committee report in A up above. So it couldn't go on the consent agenda until you went through and approved those backfill of the eligibility worker.
Okay,
It just mechanically timed out this a little different than usual.
okay.
I think it's an example of not, when we've dropped out of the merit system, we can speed this process up by several months.
Got it.
Leaves those seats not having to be covered by workers that are still, which is just a better flow of work.
Thank you.
Yep. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Now, get to the interesting one. Midwest Medical Examiner Annual Report. Dr. Quinn Strobel.
Hi.
Hi,
Arnie.
welcome.
Thank you. It's good to see everybody.
Yeah.
Let's move it down fast.
It's funny how fast that year goes by.
Yes.
Very much. And in that year, we did get a new case management system. So your reports look a little different. I don't have a lot of the fine details that I like to have. I'm hoping to have them next year. So we were just able to run these reports. And so you have a duplicate information, you have written, and then you have the graphs. And I think the graphs are much easier to look at in general. But, for 2021, Our office assumed jurisdiction in 22% of the cases that we investigate. That means that we are responsible for signing the death certificate when we assume jurisdiction. So what that means is we either do, I can wait. Oh, you can go forward. Are you gonna keep
There's a
going?
clicker right in front of you.
Really? I wasn't told that I would be. Fantastic. Perfect. So of the 223 cases, as I said, we assume 22% or 40%. And we perform autopsies in the majority of the cases, but in some that an autopsy isn't necessary, and we just do what's called medical record review. In those cases, someone dies, at their home of natural causes. They don't have a physician to sign, or they die from a fall or a fracture, and we just review their medical records and sign the death certificate on that. So it's a significant time consumption, and so we added it to our list of what we do, just so you're aware. And skip those. Here we go. And so of the autopsies that we did, the majority, of course, get a complete internal and external examination. In some cases, a limited examination is necessary, what we call a partial. And then in some cases, we just do an external exam. That one's important. So for 2021, this is the list of manners of death that we, again, our office investigated. There were 2 homicides in 2021. That was the same number as 2020. 30 deaths were classified as accidental. There were 4 deaths classified as suicide, and that was the same as 2020. So the 4 is kind of the low end of the last 5-year trend. I have our old form where I have the last 5-year trends. And so the peak of suicides that I have was 2016. And that was 8. And so now we're down to 4 for 2 years. So. And then I think what most county boards are concerned about is still the drug overdoses. And our office had 12 drug or substance abuse accidental deaths for Pine County last year. That's a decrease of 2 from the year before. And as I have here, in 2020, there were 15 deaths due to substance abuse, but in 2019, we only investigated 4. So obviously, it's a big difference. It's still pretty high, but unfortunately pretty consistent across all of our counties. It's not unique to Pine.
Do you know which drug is the most common?
It's still fentanyl, methamphetamine. It's still the fentanyl is everywhere. People ask for it or they get it. They think they're buying something else, oxycodone or something, and it's fentanyl. So the same drugs. I mean, it's just amazing how much fentanyl is out there, and how many people are still overdosing on it. You think the word is out. Other, frequent drug users are aware, but again, some seek it because it's a more potent drug than heroin. So hopefully we can still work on getting those down, but there were 7 motor vehicle incidents, and let's see. And yeah, it's kind of a quick run through again. And next year, I'm really hoping to have a little bit more details, and then we'll have it on the slides, but kind of just usually hitting the normal points.
Are we kind of on the average? You mentioned a couple of cases, like we're not out of the ballpark for the other counties you work with?
All of our counties are showing pretty much an increase in overdoses, or this steady peak, so to speak. Again, I think because of the presence of fentanyl being so potent that, a lot of people just have no idea what they're getting. But yeah, it's not like, wow, look at Pine compared to the other ones. Like everybody is seeing these overdoses. Last year was pretty bad.
You got any questions? It's always interesting to me. It seems.
It's nice to be back.
It's sad. That's the right word, Terry. It's sad.
yes, it's frustrating and it's sad and it's all.
Do you have any indicators that some of those drug overdoses might be suicidal?
That's a very good question. And in some cases, if there is a question of it, and we try to obviously do as detailed an investigation as we can. Most of the time, it's known substance, and the circumstances that they're found or the people that they're with. I mean, it's pretty clear that the intent was to not die, was to get high or to have whatever effects there are. And it is an unforeseen incident. There are very rare cases where there's some thought that, they took too much because they intended to die. And, we really only call things suicide if the preponderance of the evidence indicates that they wanted to take their life. But when you buy something off the street, you have no idea what you're getting. You don't know how much of the drug is in there. So even if you kind of say, well, I'm going to take a lot, to end my life on purpose, you don't ever really know what you're getting.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah,
So what's the age group or span of that? Or is there any young ones? That's what I'm thinking.
There's not, we don't see very many very young ones like in their teens, thank goodness. Most of the time, it starts in the 20s, that we see the deaths. It's the 20s, but I mean, we have people in their 60s. The oldest person we had using methamphetamine was in her 80s.
oh,
Yeah, that was. So it really is a span though of ages for sure. But yeah, we don't really, thank goodness, see teens.
Thank you.
That's good.
thank you very much.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Too many.
On to emergency medical services. Do we have anybody here for that, or is it just a resolution?
Mr. Chair, I believe it's just a resolution, and I don't know if Commissioner Ludwig, if you want to speak to it. The EMS resolution.
I gotta find it. Yeah. What do you want to know about that? That's another thing. It is what it is. We do that every year.
Yep.
Yeah, the EMS week is coming up, May 15th through the 21st. I'm sorry, I don't mean, that's my deal. Yeah, we, at our last meeting, we said we'll try to get all the counties to do a proclamation. So
Are you making a motion for that?
I am. I'm gonna
Okay.
Do that.
Hang on a second.
Our county really depends on the first responders because we're so big and so rural, so it's kind of important.
Motion by Ludwig, second by Waltham for resolution 2022-27. Designating the week of May 15th to the 21st as Emergency Medical Services Week. So any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Brings us down to 6.1, public comment.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
If I can maybe kick this off, and I know some commissioners and Leslie may have some additional comments, but the Minnesota Telecom Alliance and Minnesota Rural Electric Association have submitted a petition to the Minnesota Public Utility Commission that would initiate a proceeding to revoke the expanded eligible carrier designation for LTD broadband. And we're interested in that because LTD broadband has won the award, the RDOF award, for significant portions of Pine County, but there's a concern that they do not have the capacity to actually construct the required network. And so this is a comment period, and we are proposing that we would submit comments that their award would be revoked. That makes sense.
Terry, do you want to comment or do you want me to?
I can. I'm excited about this because we've got so many people that have boots on the ground here. And if that funding, if they can't get the funding to do what they have because this is still hanging out in the air somewhere, then we're put on pause. We can't do what we want to do. So we were talking about it yesterday, and Leslie got this great letter to go out to support them not supporting LTD. which is what we've been trying to push for the last, how many months? Because.
I don't know, it seems like a couple of years because we just see no indicators that says LTD is capable of performing any kind of broadband service to people's houses like they said they were going to do. And they're tying up any other federal awards and I think some state awards also because they have these RDOF dollars awarded to them. And I don't believe they've got any money for the Pine County to do anything yet, but they have this umbrella hanging over Pine County that says we have the exclusive rights to build into these large areas of Pine County.
Was that given out on a bid at some point and they?
It was.
They bought that at a reverse auction. And so they bought that right basically to tie up any other carrier is not going to come in here because they can't get any grant funds to do. And without grant funds, there's no ROI on building fiber or anything out Rutabaga Road or out the Sandstone Road or it's just not, it's not a viable option for anybody, or somebody would have done it long ago.
So our refusal is going to impact what then? Just in Pine County or?
That's what we're saying. Take them out of the picture because we have other carriers like East Central Energy that if they could get some federal awards, that they could do something. They're ready to do something.
No, the other thing with LTD is that Pine County is a small pot of what they put out bids for. They put out bids nationwide. And it's a small company with, what is it, 1,000 employees or something?
No, they had 150 when.
Was it? So when we met with them, we asked how they were going to do this. We have heard about this before, yeah. So this is just one more step to stop their process of getting their grant money and moving ahead.
Mr. Chair, these comments that we're proposing mirror what the county board has already submitted to Senator Klobuchar's office to raise awareness on this issue. So the county position, so to speak, is not new, but this is just a new avenue to submit them in this public hearing process with the PUC.
So on that, during the TNT meeting with NACO, Amy Klobuchar is passing a bill to stop this also. So she's working on getting this stopped, so.
So we do need a motion for it. Are you making a motion?
I will make a motion, yeah.
Got a motion by Lovegren, seconded by Ludwig to send this letter Leslie has prepared. Any discussion?
Thank you, Leslie.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leslie. No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? Let's see. 6-2. What was 6-2 then? There was no
I think
6-2.
we're on
Okay.
to 7.
Okay. So commissioner updates, audit entrance meeting. I was there. It was pretty typical. They got some new employees, so there's going to be some new people working on the audit, but I think Michelle and Kelly's crew and everybody are the people that they really need to sit down and talk to. And then they've, of course, they will look at what we got gigged on last year. And we hope they look at that because we fixed any little issue. I think the issue last year was the way we counted inventory. Like that pile of sand is got 5,000 yards in it. And how do you measure it? I mean, that's basically what it was. So we have taken care of that. So anyway, the audit will go on. They're going to try to get it to us in completed form in August, Kelly. So anyway, we'd like it by the 4th of July, but that's unrealistic. So anyway. Facilities meeting canceled. Central Minnesota Council on Aging. We met last week. Nothing earth shattering there. We met in a joint meeting with our advisory committee. I had another meeting, so I had to join electronically, which about half of the people did. Everybody had a perfect connection except me. So I knew that in the first 3 minutes, so I called time out and had the vice chair run the meeting. I went into the library in Pine City and had a wonderful connection. So anyway, it worked out fine. Pine City School District Tech, that got canceled. Soil and Water District, JJ, did they meet?
Yeah, here's just a couple things. Business as usual, something I just wanted to mention on August 10th. We're gonna have a SWCD supervisor field trip for the SWCD supervisors. They're gonna visit past and present projects. So I don't know, maybe there's a chance, there's enough notice if any of us maybe would even want to hop in with them or have a chance to go see what's going on and look at their projects. And then they are gearing up again for the tree sale. I know that's always been a success over there, so just wanted to mention it again.
I picked my trees up.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they over 20,000. They sold, yeah.
Yeah, they just had a little bit of, what was it, black? Yes, I don't think it was black, maybe it was black cherry left over, yeah. Yeah, like everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's good that their trees came because I'm waiting for some to come from the DNR nursery. They sent notice they did finally start lifting them, but the frost was still on the ground at the state nursery 10 days ago, so.
If you want to practice planting, come on over to my house.
We practiced a little bit a couple of weeks ago with some we got from a private nursery, but GPS 4593.
So I sat in on that and I got done and I was so extremely excited. When we had our school meeting the last time, one of the things that we talked about was working with the technical colleges and just, there's so many kids that learn with hands-on. They don't learn, with the other ways. So this GPS 13, they were talking about, I should probably get on the right page so I can have all the right notes. LIFT, it's the LIFT program. And they're doing it down in southern Minnesota and they work with the technical colleges. They work with an aviation place where the kids can go learn flying and they can learn mechanics.
What age group they talk?
Is it 11th and 12th graders? Was that kind of it? Or was it younger than that? Do you remember? I don't know if they ever really said that.
Not after graduation.
No, it's during high school. So when I went to high school and where I went to high school, we could go to the vocational school and learn trades.
Yeah.
And they took that away.
Yeah, I could do that too.
So now it's trying to bring it back and figure, because there's so many kids that just can't learn with the books, they can learn with their hands. But so this is what this program is, but it doesn't just work with the school, it works with manufacturers, it works with the airports, it works with law enforcement, a lot of the kids. So they were talking about the kids, what they really want to do. And it was, the first one was factory and then aviation, flight and mechanic, nursing, medical, and then police force or corrections. So just thinking about the businesses that we have here that I think would be willing to work with the kids to see if they could help them learn. And then one of the kids said, after taking this class, I realized that there's 250 jobs in this area. I can stay here. I'm thinking, well, that will keep people here in our area too, which is huge. But, you think of like the airport in Hinckley, if Brian would be willing to help kids learn things like that, or if there's people you can bring in there, or you've got Scott or DACA or, DACA learn welding, take it first at Pine Tech and then go learn, there's just so many opportunities here. when you start opening those doors. So I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for the school meeting to talk some more about that issue.
That's a good program.
And Leslie, I got an email saying that she was working on getting them to come and do the presentation also, which would be good.
Yeah, I reached out to Rebecca and Stella to see how they wanted to do that. I don't know if that gentleman will be able to come do the same presentation, but if not, Rebecca can probably do that. And Rebecca Brody is with CMJTS, or Central Minnesota Jobs and Training, LSD. And those two are the people in the region that tend to bring these technical things to schools and help integrate it. And to be honest, they're also the ones that set up the manufacturing week and all of that kind of stuff to really encourage kids to look outside the box for careers. So
It was really,
Yeah, anytime you can expose those kids to something,
yes,
that, hey, I like this, the school can't expose everything.
no.
Thanks.
Mhm.
AMC legislative update. You have anything, David?
There is a lot going on as the session ticks down. It sounds like the framework for a global agreement. I don't have any of the detail on that. So I guess if you have specific questions, I can try to answer them, or if you're on AMC's email list, I'm sure you're getting information as it develops.
Yeah.
So can I, one of the things, I was in the leadership and Terrell Clark and somebody else were on their way down to speak to the Senate yesterday. And one of the things that they had brought up was they were going down there to talk about corrections and probation funding. And they said, if you can write letters to your Republican senators, is how they put it, because it's passed the House where we'll be able to get some financial services through the House, but the Senate has not approved it yet. And Dave can probably say it more clearly than I can because we were just talking about it for the meeting. But if we can reach out to Jason, and I did that yesterday and just said, you've heard from Steve for so long that you know that this is important to us. And I know that you'll support this, but if you can help work with your colleagues and see if we can get this to go through. But if you got a couple minutes, if you want to do that, if we could get help with probation, it would be huge. And it's on the table.
This is that Doug Carlson used to call it that silly time of year.
Yes, it is silly for them.
You talk to a lobbyist one day and they go, well, it's a good idea, but it's not going to pass this year. The next day you're watching Almanac and it passed that day, Anyway, I guess the lesson to us is to keep our ideas in front of our legislators, because those things that might sound a little bit trivial to us become some kind of a bargaining chip in these global agreements that they get with these omnibus bills. And that's obviously the way they're doing business. So we have to be there. We have to be at the table. East Central Solid Waste, we met last week. One issue we're having that I don't know what the best answer is, but I think has to do with transportation costs. As people are demoing things, instead of taking the demo to the Rush City site or over to the Mora demo pit, they have found it's cheaper for them to pack those roll-off boxes tight as they can, pay the garbage rate and take it to the transfer station. Well, demo is hard to handle at the transfer station. And we're filling our landfill full of stuff that doesn't really need to be in the landfill. But I understand if you're the contractor, you're trying to make money. And so I don't know what the best solution is, but we're going to have to figure that out, I think.
Is that allowed in your landfill demo? Like house?
Yeah.
It is, huh?
Yeah, if you're tearing a house down because it's lined landfill. So, if you can stick it all in one roll-off box and you're only 7 miles from the transfer station, you take it there instead of driving 37 miles one direction with your truck at $5.50 a gallon diesel fuel. So I understand. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. It's just that we've got to be able to probably change our rates or something. I don't know.
Didn't you guys do that once? Or wasn't this addressed a couple of years ago?
Yeah, we thought we had it figured out, but times change, Josh, and that's the problem. And contractors are smart. They're in business to make money. I don't begrudge them that. Regional library.
We had the audit, we went through the audit and everything was good. There was there were about 30 people at this meeting, which, there's never anybody at the meeting. And it was all about a book called It's Perfectly Normal. And it's a book for junior high students. And it's very sexual and has a lot of pictures and that type of stuff. And so they did an ad hoc committee that's going to be meeting that will read the book and determine where it should be in the library, if it should be where the kids can see it, or if it should be moved to a different area, where older people see it or older kids or whatever. But it started for kids like in 10 years old. And the pictures that they put up were pretty explicit. And it's like, I've got an 11-year-old grandson that I don't want to see that book. So anyways, that was the big part of the meeting, was the discussion and the public forum for that.
Well, good luck.
Thanks.
Chemical Health Coalition.
I missed it. I was in Rochester.
All right.
We have the minutes here, though. So financially, the first quarter, we've got $14,728.36 in there. And because we don't have the grant anymore, we get the money from court fees. And so I had it written down as to how much we get on that. I can find the right notes. But we don't get as much as what we thought, or what we used to be able to get for the court fees for what we got for the grant. So things are getting cut back and trying to figure out what to do with that. We had Amber there from Adult and Teen Challenge, and she talked about their program. Becky was talking about the family resource centers, which sound actually really good. It's to support families to be strong, healthy and successful, and contributing to a strong and healthy community. It seems like everything I've done this month is how to build people's self-esteem up, how to build up their desires to do better and to, the positive attitudes and that. And that's where this falls too. It's just sounds like a good program. Kevin's going to be having another fishing thing coming up on Sturgeon Lake the second week of August, and they need people to volunteer for that. It sounds like they have just a blast, and a lot of kids have been showing up. So it's good. Yeah.
All right. You want to keep going?
NACO. So the big thing on NACO is they're really trying to bring manufacturing back to Minnesota or back to the States. Because, they were talking, we need to have electric cars, but all of the electric batteries for the cars are made in China. So, it's stuff like this, they want to do all of this stuff, but nothing's set up for it to be done here. So that's a big thing, is they've got those grants coming through to help people to be able to open manufacturing businesses and bring people back to work in the US. The other thing that they really talked about was broadband. And there's this new program that's out there where certain people, if you're low income, you can get free internet service or free broadband. And so Terrell had just gone to Washington on Monday, and she was there for President Biden he made an announcement out in the garden, and it was that they've got 20 new facilities that have signed up that will give free internet access to people within those income requirements. So they're moving things up to help to get broadband to people that really need it, and bringing manufacturing to the US.
How about Shack?
Shack, they are working really hard on trying to figure out how to restructure public health, because everything has changed so much after COVID. So that's one of the things that they're going to be doing, and there'll be reports coming out at the district meetings, which ours is on June 2nd, I believe. And then they have that innovative grant that I talked about before. 41 out of 87 counties will be a part of that innovative grant that went through. And so we'll be getting some ideas on the things that they've done, but it sounds like they've done they had some neat ideas. So.
Blue Zone's kickoff meeting, we kind of talked about that. I've already noticed a change. My wife and I went to the pizza pub last night and we had a crustless pizza, which he'd kind of been playing with that idea and somebody, kind of put it together now. So it was actually very good. Makes it in a dish almost looks like a dish of lasagna, but it's the top of the pizza. I don't know if every pizza he makes that way, but it was.
The cauliflower crust is good there too. They have the cauliflower pizza crust. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I have one question or one concern
Yep.
out of the Blue Zone kickoff, and that's where they said that we need to make policy and how that would work. So I'm interested to see how it would work with the policy on doing Blue Zone. Otherwise, I thought the program was amazing. It really made you think about what you eat and what you do and get up and move. And, I think it's a good program, but I don't know how we do a policy.
Yeah, you can't find one negative thing about the concept or the.
I think, Terry, that's why.
Yeah.
As
Just how do you get it going?
Right.
as leaders in the county, maybe we need to be cognizant of the fact, do we make a policy that, everybody has to eat a crustless pizza? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
I believe that the policy piece relates to the built environment or the physical environment. So how do pedestrians get around? How do bicycles get around? Is it a walking friendly downtown, for example? So the policies would encourage development that would allow people to not have to use a car, is one example. But that would be, those would be policies that would be developed by, those citizen groups that would then recommend them to whatever agency would be responsible for them.
And it's interesting, it'll be interesting to see what.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you weren't there, they had, was it what city was that they changed the speed limit from 35 to, was it 50?
Loma Linda,
Yeah.
or no, they did it actually in Albert Lee too, Albert Lee.
But they reduced the speed limit. And when they did that, all of a sudden people are walking on the street. And because people were walking on the street or, in town walking, they opened more of the in-town businesses again. I mean, it was just interesting how you make that one change and then all these other things fell into place.
They didn't feel safe before that. Cars were.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, to have the businesses, the employment, the health issues that, being able to get out and walk and do stuff, it was really interesting.
Lakes and Pines, we have the position for an executive director posted right now. It's open until June 5th, I think. So.
When's he officially done?
He's officially done in August, I believe. So I think our timing will pan out pretty well by the time we get interviews done and onboard somebody. It'll be a pretty good transition. Under other, I noted one thing watching the news last night, that there's a bill to name the official soup of Minnesota, sponsored by Representative Sundin, and that's lutefisk soup.
Ew.
I'm not sure where he's going to get support for that, because I believe wild rice soup failed. which I like.
That's what you think it would be wild rice. Oh, lot.
The other thing that I have on my mind is maybe towards fall, we could set up a joint meeting with our zoning board. Just so I don't believe I can remember that we ever met with them. And maybe,
think we ever have.
maybe it would be good to just touch base with, we've done it with other boards and maybe that would be a good. Should we try to get that set up?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, check your meeting schedules. We got AMC district meeting coming up in early June.
You want to go to District 1? Or you gonna go to District 1 meeting?
Any other business we need to take care of?
I think June 1st.
If not, we'll declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Meeting.